Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's Ocean back with another Destiny 2 video, and today we are not actually doing a Lost Sector, but we are going to be talking about Lost Sectors. And finally, it's about time that a bigger YouTuber started talking about Legend Lost Sectors and the loot that you get from them and that whole entire experience. Obviously, I am a smaller channel, so me talking about it or bringing it up wouldn't have as much effect. Probably won't be seen by anybody at Bungie, but as you can see, Datto here, he did make a video, 190,000 views so far. He's got 1.2 million subscribers. So this definitely has a bigger reach and will potentially make it to Bungie, and maybe we can actually get some changes to the loot system in Legend Lost Sectors. So we're not actually going to play Datto's video here, but what we're going to do is just talk about the things that he mentions in the video, and then also go over some things that I think could change the loot experience for the better, some ideas, and then I'd like to hear from you guys what you guys think about my ideas. Like the video, comment on the video, go to Datto's video, put the comments there, like his video. Again, I don't mind where you put your comments, just so we want to get more eyes on this and hopefully get Bungie to see it and actually make some changes. So again, it doesn't need to be my video that you guys like or comment on, but definitely do it on some videos to get more people's eyes on the matter. So starting off, he does mention how good Lost Sectors actually are and how they've received some awesome updates. As you guys know, they did make Lost Sectors a little bit more difficult by raising the light level in them. I think the recommended level is 1830 for a Legend and 1840 for Master. So that's pretty high up there, especially when the power cap right now is 1810 plus your artifact. So I'm only sitting at about 1822, so I'm still 7 levels under the 1830 mark. But I've definitely found out some, guide strategies, weapons, setups, and stuff to complete Lost Sectors pretty quickly. But he mentions that these are like one-player strikes, which I love that idea. I play solo most of the time, so having some content that can actually get me endgame gear as a solo player, I think it's a really cool idea, which is why I want this to get more eyes on, more people to see this, so we can hopefully make these one-player strikes, the Legend and Master Lost Sectors, have better loot tables. Even if they make them a little bit more difficult, it's still, as long as they're still accessible to everybody to do, I think they could do some really cool things with the loot table and the experience as a whole. So going into it, he mentions performance-based rewards. And I don't know if I mentioned, I did make a comment on this video. Scroll down real quick. There it is. We'll go into that a little bit in a second and go over my ideas. But he does go over performance-based rewards in his video, and he mentions how by not dying, maybe you get a guaranteed exotic on a master or a legendary, because it's really difficult to not only get an exotic that you're looking for, because there are so many different exotics. Even if it's Arms Days, each character, Titan, Hunter, Warlock, they have about 10 to 15 unique exotics specific to arms. So the chance at actually getting the arms that you want to drop is really low, but then actually trying to get the stat roll that you want is even lower. So really, when you're farming these, to get the actual thing you need and you want is very, 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 very rare. So having a performance-based rewards, he mentions, could increase the likelihood of you getting the exotics that you want. So getting the exotic and the stat roll you want takes a very long time. So he thought of an idea, or it was pitched to him, that you can actually just choose the exotic that you're hunting for. So if it's Arms Day, you can choose the arms that you want. That way, anytime you do get that exotic roll to land, that it is always the arms that you want or the helmet that you want. For me, I go for the Assassin's Cowl. I love that exotic, so anytime it's Helmet Day, I would choose the Assassin's Cowl as the drop, so anytime I do get an exotic drop, it drops as the Assassin's Cowl, and then I'm really just hoping for good stat rolls, but it gives me a little bit more of a focusing ability. He also mentioned exotic tokens. Instead of getting the exotics, you are dropped exotic tokens, and after so many tokens, you can just take it to a vendor and choose the exotic that you want. Another decent idea. As long as you keep the drop rate the same, I think 1 and 3 and 1 and 4, that makes it so technically you would be getting 3 exotics in that time to get 3 tokens. But instead of choosing to get an exotic and hopefully landing on the one you want, you can go focus it. So every 3 exotic drops you get, you actually get to choose the 1 exotic that you want. I think that's a cool idea as well. It can definitely be tuned further. And lastly, he mentions to bring back glass needles. Maybe not in its original form, which you were able to re-roll everything on an exotic. Maybe tune it up a little bit. Which I go into detail as well, but glass needles allow you to re-roll the exotics that you already have. So those are the things that he talked about. I want to go into the comment now that I had placed on the video, and the reason why I'm making this video is because, well, I didn't get too much popularity on it. I don't think anybody saw it. He probably doesn't even see this, so that's why I wanted to make this video to, showcase it to some more people. So pretty much what I'm saying here, a couple of ideas. Make master exotic drops have an additional slot similar to artifice armor. This will just make it so people actually want to run masters. If masters are too hard for someone, you can still run the legendary version, still get an exotic, but if you complete it on the master version, then you can get that extra slot to give you a +3 boost in something. So very similar to that. You can change it up. Maybe it's a different type of perk or mod that you can put in there to just make your weapon stronger. Not necessarily a stat boost, but it could be a weapon boost or something like that. But I think that would be a neat idea. And then in regards to the glass needle idea that Datto did mention before, make glass needles specific to Lost Sector exotics. So if you're running around and you're getting, weapons, or you're getting exotics that you did not earn from a Lost Sector because maybe that stat rolls are higher depending on where you got it, you can't use the glass needles to do those. This makes it so people need to run the Legend Lost Sectors or Master Lost Sectors to get these glass needles and exotics within. It just it brings more people to the Lost Sectors in general, which again, I'm a big Lost Sector fan, so I like it when people are running those and farming that way because it gives them more of a ability to get good gear solo. So that's an idea with me for glass needles. I also mentioned, let's see here, or make glass needles an even more rare drop and allow all exotics to be rolled. So previously I mentioned, we'll just read through it. Make glass needles specific to Lost Sector exotics, but the glass needle needs to be a rare drop as well. So make it a 1 in 5, 1 in 10 even. That way you're not just re-rolling constantly and constantly. You're actually getting more exotics than you are glass needles, and you can choose the exotic that you want to re-roll at that point in time. And then, or make glass needles an even more rare drop, so 1 in 20, and allow all exotics to be rolled. Having this as an extra rare drop would make it harder to farm a ton of these in an hour. That way, people aren't just constantly getting glass needles and re-rolling and getting the best gear day one. You want to have some sort of a grind. I think that's what makes some of these games fun and makes getting the loot more rewarding. Next, we have make Lost Sector specific loot, but actually make them good, or at least make them look cool and allow us to use them as ornaments. I love the idea of specific loot. I remember when they did that back in Destiny 1 when you killed like Fogon, and you could get his helmet or certain weapons. Anyways, you know what I mean. I don't remember all the weapons from back then or the armor pieces. I think that is such a cool idea. It'll actually get people to go and farm these Lost Sectors to get the ornaments. That way, you can use those on any of your items. It doesn't have to necessarily be the item that you get. That's why I like the ornament idea. Or if you're not doing an ornament idea, actually make the items that you get good. That way it's, best in slot almost. That way you can get a full gear set from Legend Lost Sectors that's really good. You can carry over into Master Raids, Grandmaster Nightfalls, and such like that. And number 4, I like the idea of a Lost Sector currency or token to be spent to focusing an exotic. I don't go into the detail of that too much because there's so much fine-tuning you can do with it, but I do think that's a cool idea. And number 5, I don't think speedrunning should have an additional bearing on exotics besides the fact that you can complete more in an hour. Although I do think having less deaths could play a part. Players that are not skilled could take their time to ensure no deaths or even 1 death for the highest drop rate regardless of time. That way, people are trying not to die, and not focusing on speed running it as much. I just think that would be a good idea, because people that are just speed running it, they might die, go out of there, you might finish it in 3 minutes, you die 5 times still somehow, right? Not as fun. I think it's more rewarding if you don't die and then get the reward that you want. I think that'd be not a bad idea. 6, increase stat focusing in addition to the Ghost mod that focuses a stat. This will allow you to choose 2 stats that have a higher chance at dropping those stats 20 plus. So on the Ghost right now, you can choose a stat to have a higher chance at getting a higher roll. Well, what if you could go into Legend Lost Sectors, kind of like choosing the exotic, that splash screen he mentioned? What if it's more of a stat splash screen, so you choose the extra stat that you want, higher chance of getting the stats that you want at a high roll. Lastly, integrate exotic weapon drops from Legend or Master Lost Sectors, or just specifically Master Lost Sectors. Will bring more people into them and give them more variety of what you can get. And obviously, weapons, not all of them can change the skills on them. I know the ones from Zur, the Hawkmoon, and the Dead Man's Tail, you can actually, those rotate, rangefinder, stuff like that, open shot. Anyways, guys, if you guys like the video, like any of the ideas that I mentioned here, let me know in the comments below. Like the video, post and like Datto's video. The more eyes that we can see on this, get to see this, then the better the likelihood that Bungie does change Lost Sectors for the better and make it more fun and better rewards. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys all later on my next video.